Hi guys, Alan. Been about a week or so since I did one, and again, this is about the call it the torquemada project, but it's really the targeted individual project, and it's really strange. The whole thing is just for me. I went through it after I started after I had an operation at the hospital in Dallas. Broke my arm in a football practice, and you don't think they're just gonna fix you. They're not gonna do anything wrong. Not when you're 14 or 15 in high school, and you're nominated most friendliest of your class and most likely to be teaching scientific creationism. I had known as being religious and was off to study to be a minister, Pentecostal Protestant minister, and that's where I went to college. But before that, in high school, I broke my arm, and that's where I started. After my surgery, within some months, started getting my side pain. You just figure, well, maybe something's not, but you don't think you're in some program. You don't think you're. But how weird it is to go 30 years every day with a side pain, and because it hurts your side, your heart, whatever, your emotions aren't as, it's like your brain. If your brain gets zapped a bunch of times from Havana syndrome, scalar waves, your brain isn't going to work as well. Same with your heart. It's an actual organ that we use that's like when you pledge the allegiance. Your emotions that you're supposed to feel or love or hate, some start from the brain, but a lot it's in your heart, your emotions. Even though the heart might be here, you kind of feel it right over here. And to think the whole time in 30 years, since I was 15 when I had the operation, that they at the hospital would go along with, one of the surgeons was a devout Muslim, but the other people in Dallas, because Dallas is a very Protestant evangelical town, were just evangelicals, and the people covering it up and taking the money and being all quiet and secret about it were Protestants. It's Dallas. They can blame it on Freemasons, and there's Freemason there, but the people taking the money, it's Dallas. It's Protestant, evangelical, and maybe some Freemasons, but they're getting money for torture. And this is while they're saying they're going to drain the swamp, get rid of corruption. Meanwhile, they're taking money for torture and suicide. And it's like the way the Catholic Church used to be ashamed of the Spanish Inquisition. And has to, it was horrible. And to think that they are doing it again, but they're doing it high tech, hard to find with the technology because it's wireless, Havana syndrome. It's the targeted individual program. It's the same technology as what the FBI was getting hit with. The only thing is, besides getting hit with this in the head or the heart, you also get voice to skull. When it happens to everyday people, it's the targeted individual program, and it doesn't get much coverage except on some programs. Dr. John Hall was on InfoWars, Alex Jones and stuff, but there's some legitimate shows that they were talking about, but it's the same program as Havana syndrome. When it's regular people getting hit and tortured with it, like at the White House, the White House meeting in 2011 and 2012, and at an Ella Freeze 2019 targeted individual rally. I have the video on my YouTube under created playlist, and then it's created playlist. You hit one of those create playlists, and it shows all the different videos. It's supposed to show all the videos on my But to think that Dallas for 30 years at the time when I found out what all this, just praying to God, like, what is this side pain? Please let me know. Heal it, find a doctor, and to find out that they knew the entire time. And that the police went along with it. And that the people in the town, they could have helped you every day for all those years. But I guess they wouldn't get the money. I didn't need to spend all those, how many thousands of dollars, how many years of just pain and getting. And I'm thankful that they sent me to specialists get pain meds. At least they did that. But they took some of it, but I didn't have to go through any of it. And it's like the people of your evangelical Protestant town, they're going to drain the swamp, but they never heard of a mirror. They can go and gripe about Joe Biden or Donald Trump, about anything under the sun, or George Bush, while they're anything that they can think of, that they criticize other people, affairs, stealing money or a bribe. These are people going along with a torture and suicide program and getting money from it and keeping their mouth zipped. The only thing is the people at the head of it is the Faucis. It is Miss Fauci that Obama put in charge of looking into experimentation with, make sure that drugs and medical stuff isn't being experimented on people unfairly or without their consent, aren't being tortured. And that's her main job under the Obama administration. And to her credit, and Obama's credit, they had the thing in 2011, the White House bioethics, or what, I forgot the term for it, but it's on my thing. 2011 White House bioethics meeting in 2011 and 2012. It's the White House's thing, but one's in Washington, D.C., one's in New York City. But Amy Goodman from the University of Penn State, or Pennsylvania, is the main, and then Dr. Christine Davis, or was it Christine? Anyways, Fauci's wife. Christine Grady, I believe, not Davis, Christine Grady. Anyway, they're still doing this, and because there's so many of us still alive that we all didn't die off yet, they had to blame it, make it, it's happening to the FBI too, and it's mainly FBI informants or FBI people, and we got to blame it on Cuba, got to blame it on China, got to blame it on Russia. And then after years of that, then they finally, the CIA guy is like, now we know because of pressure that it's not a foreign government. It's not a foreign government, which means, and Leslie Stahl from 60 Minutes forgot to ask, does that mean it's our own government? And it's like, yeah. If it's not a foreign government and it's happening to people, then that means it's who else is left. Anyway, they call it Project. There was Anthony Forwood, who was a person that kind of went back and forth some years ago with Robert Duncan as far as who's telling the truth. Is it DNA coding, or is it some weird scalar implants? And it was all online. I don't think they met in person, or it was just stuff online. And whether Anthony Forwood was a real person or just a fake name of a British actor that lived years ago. But when you have it, you know that this is real. And you're just amazed, because I never had a problem with anybody in Dallas. The people were good. Police were good. The sheriffs, I thought, I never had an enemy. I thought they were basically pretty good people. And all the years, I thought genuinely where I worked. And then suddenly overnight, when I was 45 or so, just it all started changing. People started reacting weird with the phones and freaking out. And I think it happened around 2015, 2016 started with that, because in 2017, they were having the first, Dr. Matt and Ella were having the Unity and Hope Conference, the first targeted individual program. So they wanted to amp up all this torture and get people to check out quick, to die. so that they can get rid of the evidence. And they didn't want the person to be alive to find out they were part of a torture program. Even if they're depressed and in pain, they didn't want it. They didn't want the people that they were torturing to know that it was being done on purpose by people in their own hometown. They just wanted them to think they were unlucky. They didn't want those people like me to realize, oh shit, the people in my own hometown, the religious people, these very well-respected people are part of a program to torture me to death. And same with other people that are TIs. This shit is real, and it's the same thing as Havana syndrome. So I hope, now the thing is, we're still alive. And it's going to be a long, the books I already read about this are already been written for the last 10, 15 years that this is going on. And I just hope that the vaccines, that the Fauci's and all those people and Dr. Francis Collins, God, I loved him, but what a disappointment to be a part of this. To go with gain of function research when Obama said don't do it, and they did it anyway. Millions are dead. I noticed they didn't kill themselves and they didn't even get fired. Why? Because I think they were supposed to do all this. Because they didn't even get fired after they were told by their boss, don't do something. If my boss tells me don't do something, I do it anyway. And I kill people, one person, injure him. If I kill 1 million and I don't lose my job, what's that tell you about our government? Did they know it? Did they want this known? Anyway, evangelicals often really want the second coming or last day prophecy or torture or all this. I didn't know at the time that they wanted to be the ones doing the torture. And it's true because not one of them will admit to it. They won't admit to apologizing. They won't even do that. They won't apologize. They won't admit to it. And they won't even stop it. So they're obviously not even sorry because they're worried about what their reputation. It's already out. Their reputation. At least put a stop to it. Say, hey, we didn't know we're getting into. Make apologies. Do whatever, and just stop it. Stop it in its tracks. Try to save your reputation. Don't be a part of a torture and suicide campaign, because your kids and grandkids will have to live with it. Okay? I don't know if the police or at the fusion center is blocking my videos and people aren't watching it, because I know the people in my own town, or at least I thought I did, and I was dumb. I never thought they would stoop to such a level of evil. Not imperfection, not making mistakes. This is evil, and they pay people to get up every day to do this the next day and the next day. They keep paying people, and I can hear them, B2K. But I'm thankful for them in one sense, but at least I have an answer after 30 years, now 35 years, but at least I know why I was in pain. It was Dr. Duncan was saying, project whatever, Satan or whatever. And the people in my hometown just went with it. So now when I hear how spiritual religious they are, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, we know. Anyway, for the TIs out there, if you're watching, try not to give, because I'm sure all police aren't in on it, and all people there. I know Dallas and say, or at least I thought I did, but I know there's been good Christian people there most of my life. That's why it just behooves, and like, you got to be kidding. I just know they did it anyway. So anyway, I hope there's some good ones out there. I've always believed there was, but in this program, you just kind of like anything to rub shoulders with police or people in authority or government, even torture and getting money for it. They're part of the big boys club, I guess. And if it means torturing innocent people, they're willing to do that too. Anyway, I get my gripes in, but for people, it's like hearing an angry song. When you're angry, you want to hear it. You don't want to fly off and do something, and I don't either. So, but it's just nice to get off my chest. So, any TIs out there, I'm care about you, and feel free to drop a line. Okay. All right. Take care, guys.